Yeah, no. Well, it's like I can't do the 2-for-1 and just get the drink tickets. That's ridiculous. Okay, we're up, so I will cue you in shortly.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. This is focus group number 2 for the Urban Spectrum Theater Company. There is one familiar face to know how this works. Today, I just want to collect some information, just some general questions about the arts and how you perceive it, how your feelings, what your thoughts are, things like that. So to begin, let's just go around the room, introduce ourselves. You can tell us your pronouns and 2 of your favorite. I will go. I am the artistic director of the Urban Spectrum Theater Company. 2 of my favorite things. My first favorite thing is my dog Riza. He's the baby. And my second favorite thing is to dance. I love to dance. Arlo, you want to kick us off? What you do, yeah. Want to speak up a little bit?
2 of my favorite things are
drawing and cooking.
Love it. Welcome. Thank you.
Okay. I'm Nen G. Ramirez. They, he. My 2 of my favorite things are writing poetry and reading poetry.
Love it. Thank you.
Hi, Winnie McGreevy, they, she. I play in like a math jazz band and solo here in the Twin Cities. And 2 of my favorite things are moving my body and fingerstyle guitar.
Love it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ang. Pronouns are they, she. I'm a sound technician, and my favorite things right now are my cat and cozy sweaters.
Yeah. Love to hear it.
Hello, my name is Kiera. She, her. Work at the University of Minnesota, HR coordinator there. Some of my favorite things, my kids, my family, and I don't know. That's it.
That's good enough.
Hi, I'm Grayson, he, him. Certainly my most favorite things are gorillas and arts in all the forms of the arts, in the music, in the dancing, in the paintings, and everything.
Love it.
I'm Michael, he, him. I'm the aspiring music director for Urban Spectrum Theater Company.
Pocket.
And I like to cook meals with my friends and then eat them.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well, yeah, you can just keep the mic and we'll just jump right in. So my first question for all of you today is, what are things that you consider, like what do you take into consideration when you are attending a show? For example, parking, the venue, the price of the show, things like that. Just kind of give me a little feedback on the things that either heighten your experience or would deter you from the experience.
I do have something since I have the mic. So I'm a PCA right now, and the person I take care of is in a wheelchair. And a lot of the time I'm looking at venues, it's a big part of it is the accessibility of the venue, especially with like a house shows, which is kind of a different situation. But anywhere art's being performed, for sure, that's something that has been a huge sort of barrier at times. So
are you finding more places than not are inaccessible?
more places are accessible.
Okay.
But it's not necessarily easy.
Sure.
even if it's accessible. Sometimes it's like around the back, the door's locked, the elevator's broken, all sorts of stuff like that. And yeah, parking too.
That's real.
Just
Yeah.
getting into the venue easily, finding a place to park, accessibility in all forms, really.
Yeah.
But
That's fair. Thank you.
Well, I had my wedding here, so I think some of the things I can also agree. My mother's in a wheelchair, and making sure that the interruption. I don't like when it's an interruption of enjoying your time at a event because of the fact that you may be disabled. So for me, that would be a key thing because I've been wanting to take my mom to shows, and when I look at the venues, I'm like, what was it? What's the one by McKenzie's? Orpheum.
Oh, yeah.
The Orpheum. I'm like, nah, that's not gonna be good. Like Target Center. They have more accessibilities, but so I would say that as well as me preventable things is like not being able to bring my kids.
Right.
I go to metal shows and they're always, all ages. And I'm shocked and surprised when I see children there and I'm like, oh shit. Like, you brought your kids, I should have brought my kids. But different arts, there's a restriction of age. And I think that especially with the arts not really being so much being funded in schools,
Right.
like we have to do it ourselves. So like, why not do it firsthand with our children ourselves, so taking it back in our hands. So I would say those are a couple things that like some preventable things for me, but yeah.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Anybody else?
Well, when I consider like going out to a show, I'm always trying to see bands that I like haven't seen before. Obviously, like I do have my favorites, but I also want to make sure that I'm like supporting good people in the scene. I think that there are a lot of people who play in every city who are like not good to the people around them, and they're not a good influence on the music scene. So I really try to keep my ears out for the people who are like really good and authentically show up as themselves, and it's pretty obvious most of the time through their craft anyway. But I also, as somebody who's studied classical music, jazz, like I want to make sure that I'm watching people who, going back to authenticity, who are like really showing up and not trying to be something else. They're just presenting their craft. I don't actually think it matters if you have like a ton of technical skill, but if you're presenting yourself as you, it's always going to be interesting.
True.
It's always going to be unique. That's what I really, really like to see.
I love that. It's true.
I really agree with that,
Yeah.
like just the authenticity of it all. I think pricing is another thing for sure, but I don't necessarily mind like a show that is priced higher. It just means if I'm interested in that show, I might not be able to go to other shows.
Right.
So I love a sliding scale moment.
Yeah, no, for sure. No pressure. All right, cool. I appreciate it. That's great. Okay, I'm going to kind of spotlight like the artists in the room. What methods do you see that work best for you in terms of like marketing yourselves and your crafts?
I mean, as silly as it is, like social media is an invaluable tool. And like I've made several friends here in the scene who I knew of months before I actually met them in person. But you like find people through different videos or through mutuals or whatever, and it's like it's an ever expanding circle. So that's like a really, really good way to meet people. And then in terms of marketing, I love to see my friends do really well with like algorithms. They put out a video, it does well, and it like gains some traction for them, which is awesome. But I also love like old style posters. I actually met my bandmate, who is like crazy talented drummer, through a poster, and they were just looking for somebody to jam with. And
That's great, yeah.
and so like stuff like that, it feels really organic.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely social media, but I think like just going to shows and like going to shows that you don't play, going to events that you're not performing at, and like just being an active participant in the scene is probably like the in my experience like the best way to like market whatever project I'm working on is just like by supporting other artists.
Oh, sure.
And then also with flyers and stuff too, like and with posters, like supporting other local artists by like commissioning other artists to make flyers or posters. Like I think just or merch or just like getting those connections where it's like through mutual support of each other's crafts, I think is like the best.
Is there something you prefer over the other? Because I know social media just kind of runs everything right now. Do you prefer the whole word of mouth and just like being authentically in front of people, or does social media work better for you?
Personally, I prefer like actually like going to shit and talking to people, but I think that like social media is easier, has a farther reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
I think that people also feel a little more obligated to check out whatever it is you're doing if you actually tell them in person. Because if you are on Instagram and you're like, here's this date, here's this like, you know, post about this show that's going on or a flyer for something, they'll be like, cool.
Right.
But like, I think that if you are in person with someone and you're like, this is what's happening this day, usually what ends up happening is I end up rambling about it for a while and then telling them every detail about it, which is a lot easier to do in person than on social media.
Absolutely.
And, you know, just talking way too much about it.
Well, I think that's the whole thing about just having like real conversations with real people too. That goes a long way.
Yeah, that's pretty much
I
it.
agree.
I know I'm not an artist, but I'm a hustler, so.
Right? There we go.
I think face-to-face has always been my thing. Social media wasn't a thing when I was 21. Well, it was a thing when I was 21. I just didn't pay any attention to it. I appreciate connecting with people face-to-face all the time, like being shouted out at the bar, like, damn, I don't see you anymore. Like, everywhere I go. And it's like, that's really cool that, you know, you could be recognized consistently. You know, when I go to shows, I always buy merch. There's no question.
Right.
Like, now that I'm not broke, I will buy merch, especially for the underdogs, the people who are the front runners, because I know, like, this is how you make your money, you know, essentially. So that's what I had to say to that.
Yeah, that's real.
So I think all the performing artists can probably relate to playing shows where the other people in the audience are the other performers and then your few friends and family who you ask to come support you. And I feel like those are fun in their own way, those kind of events. And still giving it your all, still showing up for it. And I really don't mind those shows. But then also you get a taste sometimes where I'm sure everyone has also experienced playing a show with a lot of people with like really good energy, and that's like super addicting. And I guess, you know, setting a standard that's not always going to be like that, but one way we can help by like kind of encourage that is by showing up for other artists, right?
Absolutely.
So like as a performer sometimes, and granted I'm a little broke right now, I'm trying to stay away from staying out too much because I get a little carried
You're not
away.
alone.
But I'll try to go more and stuff like that, just because it makes a difference for the people on stage. And we gotta like, if we want to build up a music community, it can't be self-centered. It has to be everybody
Absolutely.
together at the same time. That's what I'd say.
Oh, that's great. I love that. Anybody else? Okay, moving on. Thank you. That was great. I guess to kind of piggyback off of that, are there any resources or tools that you wish were more accessible?
Can you give an example?
No,
Okay.
just generally.
I would say one thing, you know, I'm very charismatic and I can spark a conversation almost with anybody, but not everybody is like that. And especially, let's say you're a person who doesn't drink as much, right? Because I know drinking for me was like, I get out of my head, out of my body. I'm going to ask what the hell I want. If there were tools to, and it may even be at like the career force, but like tools in engaging in crowds with people, like, you know, was it networking?
Yeah.
You know, I would say that would probably be something that folks who are trying to make those connections face to face, especially
Right.
if this person is someone who can, I wouldn't say sponsor them, but like back the money for whatever project they have. You got to know how to talk to those type of people. And if you're used to just talking to people on the street and you're not saying the right things, it's always going to miss. So like I've learned that over the years of being in so many different crowds of folks, of like being out in Minnetonka on the lake, like, how am I here? I'm going to do my best because I'm from the hood, you know? So you have to be able to, in a sense, switch. And so I think something like some type of networking course, some key points, some cues you need to pick up on would be probably good for artists who are trying to make those connections with folks, I would say.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, even going back to marketing yourself, because like I've always said, it's always been hard for me to sell myself. And like it feels like not dirty, but like just like it's weird just having to just be like, please look at me, and just like take whatever I've got, you know?
Yeah, well,
So,
I agree. I agree with that. I mean, it's difficult, but once I started to, I feel like, realize, like, taking the other kind of, let's say sexual part out of it, and I really started putting the pieces, like, I'm working for Tiny Footprint. Like, a lot of the jobs, you know, I walked in there and I was like, I want that job. I can do that job. And that may sound very cliche, but I'm just like, I'm that confident. I'm capable of doing it, you know? So having that, also building confidence, you know what I'm saying? Just naturally, like, I was not always like this. And I got to a point where it was like, yeah, I could do that shit. So what's up? Like, I can keep proving it for you, but I'm telling you, you're going to want me here. Now I've been with the company for 3 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
It's everything. Cool.
anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure like how relevant this is, but like in terms of like something that I wish, or resources that I wish were more accessible. I've had like the same conversation 3 times recently with like younger musicians or younger bands coming up to me and asking like, how do I book a show? And I think like I wish that venues were more transparent about like what's expected.
Right.
About like, do I come with a bill already, or like, do I like, what do you need from me? Like, how do I set this up? How do I reach out to you? I feel like that's something that I've been getting a lot of, and I don't have good answers a lot of the time. I'm just like, I don't know.
No, that's great too, because I mean, that's also another one of my questions, because even I had a conversation with Michael the other day, and he was giving me perspective on how, you know, he books shows and how he gets into venues and things like that. But as far as like this theater company has gone, we have had like the hardest time just even getting a phone call back from a lot of venues, you know? And then when we do, there's these high prices and these fees and deposits and all kinds of stuff. You have to meet all these requirements, where as the other perspective, there's bands that will just like kind of show up and the people are just like, well, you get this, and then you're done, you know? So yeah, no, I appreciate all that. Anybody else? Can move on. I appreciate that. Okay. So I guess for, everybody, regardless of what you do, how do you approach collaborative projects? Like, what are your pros? What are your cons? People, venues, all the things that kind of go into that box.
That one's kind of tricky sometimes because it really depends on if it's a collaborative project with a lead or not. Like, especially with music, for example, you know, somebody's making an album and wants you on it. How much do you step in? How much do you listen? And like, how do you check your ego and stuff like that?
Right.
I think how do you approach it in a collaborative way? I think you have to really just, check your ego and just like relax and enjoy it and have fun. And
Yeah.
if it's not your project, but they wanted you there for a reason, like, don't take like feedback as criticisms as like a negative thing. I feel like creativity is so subjective and art is so subjective that it's like maybe your idea is good to you. I think people can really come into art with a big ego, or also just like they get really upset by negative feedback or negative criticisms, and those are pretty crucial, I think. So as for growth and just for how to like communicate with people in general. So that's something I see a lot. The people who I like to work with are people who are willing to just like, people get frustrated and they don't turn it into like an argument. They don't let the tension rise up. They're just like, all right, you're right, my bad.
Right.
Let's try it again. And that keeps things going. And that's usually when the best stuff is made, in my experience.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
So I've done community art building stuff with Bare Bones and Mayday. And it's so easy because you go into the space knowing this is a community project, but I haven't ever, for a while, done collaborations with smaller groups of people since before the pandemic, really. So I think it just is about the intentions are as to what's being made over like ego and all of that. But I wouldn't know. I think if I were choosing someone to build something with on a smaller scale than just going into that community space where it's like, oh yeah, we're all doing this, where it's easy to not have those selfish feelings about whatever. I think I would just choose people that are at peace with themselves. That would be my first thing. And like, is this person able in their life right now to like do something extra than just their daily job and just getting through the day to day? Because sometimes you bite off more than you can chew. And then just communication about how it's going during the process.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to ultimately be left up to the intention of all the beings that are coming together, which will make or not make something.
True.
So,
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I would say right now I'm trying to start my own business of consulting like HR work out to smaller businesses. And so I want to eventually expand to bring people on, and I can piggyback off of that. Like, I want to pick someone who really has it in their heart that this is something they want to do. They want to help people. I work corporate right now, which eats at my soul. So it's like what I do outside of that, it can't. There's no possible way. I'm going to be spent. So with collaborations, I first got to start with me. If I can't do it all or build the foundation, I don't think I can bring anybody else into it.
Yeah.
When I've been scorned and fucked over so many years when I've had folks and collaborated because I was such a free-spirited person, I'm like, I trust you. Because I give the trust before it's earned. And it's like, people got to earn it now, you know? So it's difficult. I'm watching your moves. I'm watching what you're doing. Like, are you really what you say you are, or are you a poser? Because I'm gonna call you the fuck out, like straight out. I don't care. So it's like, if you're not about it, then I'm not with it. And I'm a great judgment of character. So if I'm silent, you should be worried, because I'm probably not really fucking with you like that. So I think collaboration has to happen over time. If I don't have the foundation and I can't do it myself, because what if this breaks off and now you want to leave? What if I was dependent on you to do your part and I had no idea what that part was?
Right.
No, I can't put myself in that type of situation. So, yeah.
Thank you.
I think that, like, in terms of like choosing who to collaborate with, I think that it's something I've been thinking about a lot, is like being intentional about building the community that I want to be a part of, and the community that I want to, well, I think when creating art, being like in a collaborative kind of way, like wanting to make sure that like the people that you feel that the people that you want to be seen or feel seen by your art or see themselves reflected in your art, like have themselves represented in your art.
yeah.
I think like basically I don't like playing shows that are like all white bands or like all dude bands, and I think like to like being mindful of like who who you're sharing space with and who you're amplifying and who you're I think and like are you sending the message to your audience that like this is for you, this is a space for you. And same thing with like the zine that I'm working on. It's like in terms of the people who I have like working on it with me and the people that I have like showing up to these workshops and stuff, like am I bringing a bunch of white people into this encampment, or am I bringing in like people that like I don't know, like that have never experienced homelessness, or like thinking about like lived experience and like the people that you have working with you, like what are they bringing in, like how are they showing up?
Well, absolutely, because I mean not every gig is like a gig for you either. Like I see what you mean by just like surrounding yourself with intentional people and these intentional spaces. Because we could just book every show we wanted to just book and just do the show, just do the damn show, you know. But if there's no like authenticity behind it, then why?
I think when you said, you know, being intentional and like has these people share the same experience as, especially you can go deeper than that. What are you saying in your lyrics? These people are here because of what you said. You know what I'm saying? Like when I hear Dave East or some artist that I am connecting with where I feel it in my soul, I got chills. I don't want to come in a venue and then they have nobody else displaying like aligned with the message that they're pushing. Because I've been to five Bone shows, and I can tell you, worst crowd ever. I love Bone, let me tell you. But the people that they draw, it's a fight every time.
You're talking Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yes,
right?
Bone Thugs and Harmony. And it's like, I feel like the music that they simplify for me, or what I grew up on, does not display the crowd. And then it's like, it's a conflict. Then I'm being looked at as, oh, you're starting the fight. You got to get kicked out. Like, what? Like, so to definitely give you that part right there, is like, what are you saying in, you know, in your lyrics and the people? And you need to be intentional. If you're not booking shows with folks that also have the same type of, you know, direction you're going, what the fuck are these people buying your ticket for to come and see you and these other bands for? Like, I feel like that's a complete fucking miss. And it's just like, are we in it for the money or are we in it for the art? You know what I'm saying at that point? So, you know, I would be, how can I say? I would definitely look into the bands that are also showcasing, like, I'm into metal, my husband's into metal. He started bringing me to shows with intent to make sure I felt comfortable. So we're seeing Entheos, woman front singer. And then it was a band who disbanded in like Worm Shepherd. I think that's who I got on right now. And all like 2 black bands and a woman front singer. Like, that made me feel comfortable. I was like, oh yeah, I'm fucking with this. This is great. If they would have did anything else, if it was like old Mona Shore before Will, like, we would be fucks. Like, I was like, why am I here?
I don't know what that means,
but
I believe
it's okay.
you.
It's okay. But yeah, I mean, I went to the Lana Shore show, and they had this one front ringer band. It was a black guy who was singing, but then all the rest were front, like, they're all white dudes, and then I'm seeing dudes with SS on their fucking shit. Now I'm starting to panic. Like, I'm seeing skinhead. I'm like, am I in the right place? I'm getting nervous. So to add to that point, it's like they may draw in a different crowd, and that crowd may also not collide. You know, they might not mash well. And so, I mean, of course, you know what I did, try to rip them shits off, but you know, but at the end of the day, it was just like very off-putting for me, you know. So knowing your audience, knowing also going beyond just booking the show, like I want my people to be good. I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to also see other people that I may listen to, and I feel the vibe, and I want them to feel the vibe. So being aware of that.
Yeah, that's great.
I love this through line I'm hearing of working with good people, working with people where you can really feel like not only are they bringing a message that it's like you belong here, there's place for you here, but also that the people who show up have the intention of like that's their space. You know, this is space for them. Something that I think about when I do collaborative projects is being challenged. So like I really value working with musicians who I believe are more skilled technically than I am, but even more than that, people who challenge the way that I add my sound to a project, or like the songwriting process, where I feel like, you know, you do a certain thing so many times, you have a visual art process for drawing, for painting, or whatever it is. You start, you know, the same way, you end the same way. What happens when you shake it up and you try a whole new process for the same thing, for the same project? And it's funny because the craft changes. Of course it does. And so I think we get really good at doing the things that we do when we spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours doing them. Of course, there's mastery that comes with that. But also trying to do your craft in a new way is hard, and that's where really cool results come from. That's where like it really yields unique product. So I love feeling challenged. I love feeling like again, like as a guitarist by trade, but if somebody is like, hey, try this, or like try, I also do some piano, but it's definitely not as comfortable of a chordal instrument for me. But it's always really, really cool when I feel like I either challenge myself or other people, creatives, challenge me to try something different, pushing for the same result, but in a different way.
Right.
It's, I don't know. It yields really cool results.
I really enjoy skill sharing in the collaborative process.
You said still sharing?
Skill
sharing.
sharing.
Okay.
I just feel like theater performance it should be like the most accessible art form. I really think like you could take anybody off the street and they can make great theater that's like authentic to them or their experiences or their vision, but sometimes approaching that process as a creator, if you're new to it, can be just really daunting. And so I think just the understanding that in a collaborative process, everybody's learning, like there's delegation to be had and anyone can have that thing they bring to the table. And it's just important to figure out like, what is your thing? What do you want to bring out in yourself? And how can you use your skills to bring out that in other people?
Right. I love that. That's good stuff. Thank you. Anybody else? Good? Okay, that was good. Okay. Okay. Down to our finals here. It's kind of for everybody. Is there anything that you want to see more of or less of? Like, is the industry oversaturated with something or not? Like, what are what are your thoughts?
I want to see more weird stuff.
Weird?
Yeah, I'll leave it there for now. But.
This is a very specific thing, and who knows if it's actually going to ever be relevant for you, but I'm so sick of hardcore music.
Hardcore?
Hardcore, the genre, specifically the genre. Not like hardcore music as a whole thing, but like hardcore in general, unless it's like, okay.
Can you
I'm
elaborate?
nerd out a little bit.
So it's not like rock music, like metal?
It's not. Okay, well, yeah, it is actually. But, I mean, I love it, but it's like, I'm so sick of seeing it here because it's like every single band sounds the same because it's also it's the same people. There's a couple really good bands, but whatever. And those bands are also the same people. Sick of hardcore. I want more. I want people writing love songs. I want love
I'm
songs,
not mad at
people.
that. I'm not mad at that.
So, you know, want more
More love.
pretty beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
And it's already a harsh state. Like, you know, it gets cold here. It gets really cold. We don't need more like whatever.
You just want to be cozy.
I want to be
get
cozy
it.
and sweet and
I
nice.
get it.
I'm sick of. I think I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of old shit, you know, as of lately. And I just feel like a lot of the shit that I'm listening to really ain't got no fucking soul.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no real meaning. The song is short as fuck. It's a little something that's really and then it's just like, okay, and then that's that, you know. And I listen to wide range of music. I mean, my heart, my soul, R&B, but daily, my life story, rap, you know. But I listen to everything in between, and I'm just tired of I just saying, like, let's go back to the basics. Like, you know, let's go back to talking about people, because I feel like we have disassociated ourselves from one another. I feel like we're in player one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only one that matters. And it's like, I want to feel that connection again. Like, I'm feeling a little bit, but like not enough. So it's kind of where I'm at. And I don't care what genre it is. It could be folk. It could be even. I've been listening to a lot of like Baby Shark, so I'm fucked up. So I can't get my genres right, because I just hear Baby Shark in the background. But I'm ready. I'm just ready for people like Erykah Badu's been playing the same fucking music, and every time it's always fucking different.
Mm-hmm.
And you still feel the same chill.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can we get to that?
Right.
Make a classic. Make something, even if you hate playing it, you find ways to reinvent the shit.
I was just saying the other day, like, I miss those like 6-minute long R&B songs. Like, they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, give me a
It's like
10-minute
2:30 and it's
song,
out.
because I'm about to play Green Eyes up in here. Everybody's about to be mad. All right.
It seems like there's a lot of musicians in the room or
Yeah.
something. I don't know anything about that, about being a musician, but I can tell you as far as theater-wise, there in Minneapolis, I've experienced some very raw queer theater, inclusive raw theater with
Yeah.
nudity. Awesome. I would like to see more of that, please.
Yeah.
And I also think that if we are going to talk about things musically, I very much do not like autotune. It is the opposite of nature. And I think people should use their bodies more to make their art. And I'm not saying to wipe out all the digital little things that you can add, but to just purify it a little bit with the simplicity of just the body and like the instrument for me. And
Yeah.
because I mean, I just think our lives are so digitized. For me, there's something more attractive and simplistic to like just less of that. Although understanding that when you put on a play, you're using tons of stuff and lights. I'm not saying that aspect. I just
Yeah.
mean musically, like the auto-tune. Oh my gosh. Even Cher used auto-tune, and she doesn't need to do that. So, but yeah, and then like, yeah, more nude performance stuff happening in the in the
Nudes.
performing arts in Minneapolis.
Love it. Thank you.
I love that everyone's like just airing out their grievances with like specific genres that they're sick and tired of. One thing I would love to see more of is good venues.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I would like to see less of is like just you hear about a lot of toxic people in control of shit. Excuse my, I don't know if we're
That's true.
live streaming. Yeah, my bad.
You've been cussing, so
Uh,
it's too late now.
Man, this guy, no. I don't know. I feel like you hear about it, like maybe it'll be like in like, and there's different like industries within the sound thing. So people do sound. I know you do sound. Maybe there's people who are like toxic in the sound industry who are like controlling people's shifts or this or that. Or there's people who are like doing like maybe like what we were talking about earlier, like booking, and they're like got weird sort of like their own sort of like list of like what they want, and they are just like basically super exclusive to that. So opening that up, I'd like to see less of the toxicity. I'd like to see more good venues. That's what I'd like.
I love it. Awesome.
Bro, that place sucks. I just
That's
went
right.
there. It was awful.
Okay. Well, okay, to wrap it up, and I mean, in just short form, in a perfect world, what would be like an overall untouchable like show experience for you? Like everything would be hitting all the marks, like all the boxes were checked, like in 1 hour show. Like what all do you need?
Parking really isn't a big deal for me personally. I think anyone my age can make it anywhere without driving. I think the perfect show, no more than $25. I'm able to buy a beer, maybe. Good ventilation. And probably not an all ages show.
You said not an all ages.
Not an all ages
Okay,
show.
heard.
There's probably other criteria, but that's all I can come up with right now.
This goes back to the accessibility thing, but I forgot to mention earlier, like, maybe there's an audio and visual thing at the same time, like for more people that can't hear or something like that. Also, just like probably enhances the whole learning experience the more information you have, maybe. But yeah.
I would say, okay, if I had to do show as far as just music and theater, I would say for show, got top 5 shows that are been the best. I've been to a lot of shows. Just something that just knocks my socks off. You know what I'm saying? It could be all inclusive or it could be very private. I like more personal. I want you to connect with me. I want to feel that I'm seen as well in the crowd, and making it personal. Even if it isn't me, someone within the crowd, you see somebody. You know what I'm saying? As far as theater goes, I want to see more truth telling.
Yeah.
You know, I've been to a lot of shows here, and volunteered what I could do, and I loved Eartha Kitt, and I want to continue, especially telling Black stories. You know what I'm saying? Like, because this is all we got. You know, I think that's important for my kids to know, because I want them to know where we come from and the greatness that we have, and what's the best way of telling it through theater. You know, the display, so that they can capture it and they can retain it. You telling somebody something, they're not going to retain that information necessarily, but if you have a captivating show, that can, you know, go for lifetimes. I mean, classical music, Beethoven. I remember seeing Beethoven's 5th Symphony at the Mia, probably about 25 years ago. And from that point on, I knew that I loved every facet of music. And so I think putting more people who are not highlighted enough in their activism, them being just a straight up human being, bringing that to the forefront, because at this point right now, a motherfucker's trying to get rid of history, and we're gonna be fucking doomed if we don't tell it, because that's how I've learned, is by it being passed down through words and feelings. So
Just like
I would say
honest
that for
storytelling, like
theater.
you were saying, yeah.
Yeah, I think for theater that would be that. Show, I just want to have a great time. I've seen so many shows. I've been at so many bad shows. I think it's a hit or miss, and I don't hold that against any artist. You know, but I know that I want smaller venues, and you know, for some artists to have some all ages, because I ain't always got a fucking babysitter, and I need to bring them hoes with me. So
I'll be quick. Perfect show. I really like those shows that kind of feel almost like you're in like a museum where there's like shit to do, or like people in the audience have their art on the walls, and then there's
Yeah.
like another room with like a couch. This kind of just sounds like a rave, but but I'm actually kind of a little over techno. But something like in that vein of like a lot of experiences at once, like, you know, so areas that are more social, areas that are more for the music, areas that are more for like the visual, whatever. Just kind of a whole lot of stuff going on at once is
Yeah.
always very fun for me.
The multifaceted, yep.
That's just fun. And the music I like,
Yeah.
for me personally.
I totally agree. Like having a room that's quiet where you can just like sit and stim and like get some time alone if you need. That's not the patio, and
Yeah.
like it's nice. I think what makes a really really good show, obviously, the bands being like super super good, and really really interesting. Like something that you know is difficult for me to track, or something where it like forces me to actually like really listen.
Yeah.
That is always the type of music where I'm like, yeah, like I'm sad, like please play.
Yeah.
But also, you know, so going back to something I've said a couple times now is just the musicians being good people. It's so important to me, because I don't want to watch somebody who is a jerk play their songs.
Right.
One of my first music teachers, a lesson that he taught me was, it doesn't matter how good you are. If people don't like you, they will not want to work with you. You can be the best player. You can be such a smooth cat, and it just doesn't matter. If you suck as a person, people are not going to invite you to play with them.
So true.
So I say that. I also think price-wise, yes, it's hard for me to dish out $40 to go to a show, especially if it's local. So sliding scale too is important. And I also really appreciate kind of on like the authenticity of the bands, but like if you're a performer, you know, you have your friends there to see you, and there's also people who have probably never heard you before, seen your face, or maybe they have, but they've never met you. I think it's important to be really friendly and go out and thank people for coming.
Absolutely.
You know, like actually go up to people and say, hey, you know, here's who I am, and what's your name, and what did you think, and
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. I love
just
that.
being a genuine person. It really
It's super important.
makes
That's
the
one of our
experience
company
authentic.
traditions, actually, is after every production, we will leave in through the audience and then just thank every last individual on their way out. So I love that, yeah. Just the whole personability of it all, too. Anybody else? Yeah.
Last year, I went to what I would say was a perfect show for me.
Yeah.
It was an opera theater put it on, and it was a opera that they had, I don't know, redone to be a little bit more current, and it was an all POC cast, which was really special or mostly POC cast, which was special to me because I started in the opera world, like
Oh,
in
wow.
high school.
Yeah.
And part of what really turned me off of that was just that, like, you don't see people of color. Like, I had never seen, I'm half Chinese. I hadn't seen like a Chinese person doing opera, and then they had an East Asian in
Yeah.
the key role, and they also had like an email before with guidelines for how the audience could act. They were like, you can go wander the space, like feel free to
That's nice,
dance,
actually.
like close your eyes, do whatever you want. And just going into that, I felt just really good knowing I had the freedom to be who I wanted to be in that
Yeah.
show. Everyone else could. It was also like truly multi-medium. So they had that classic opera, but it was also like a rock band. They had adapted
Oh.
it so it was like rock music, operatic vocals. They had like some shadow puppetry, like
Okay,
some
this sounds fun,
movement.
actually.
It was awesome, and it was in a church.
Yeah.
So in like an unconventional venue, sliding scale tickets, and then afterwards, I think they had a set from a local band play for just
Okay.
like catharsis, like jump it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of those things together. I just thought it was such a unique and beautiful way to do theater that
Absolutely.
I want to see more of.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah.
I think something that I'd like to see more of that really makes a show for me is like taking full use of like the opportunity that like shows bring for like community and connection. I think like it doesn't always have to be a benefit show, but like when it's like what partnering with like a political organization or like a mutual aid organization, either like just having it like some of the proceeds go to it, or like having like org's table, or like have it setting up like also a like canned food drive, or using the space on stage, like having people's attention, like using that time to do like a know your rights training or a Narcan training, or like
Yeah.
having Narcan available, having like things like that where it's like using being intentional about like the space and the opportunity at hand
Yeah.
to like actually like
It's like taking
do something
advantage of
besides
using that
just
platform.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I just wanted to add it. I forgot like about the fact that my daughter has autism. So, and she loves music, and we went to an opening of a donut shop in St. Paul, and I didn't realize. Yeah, we went. Yeah, so no, hold on. The one I can't remember the name of it now. I can't remember the name of it. You see, you don't fuck me up. It just opened in July, so it's like only walk up only. I don't know where it is. It's like somewhere by Shelby, but there was. So I was coming to support one of my employees from the farmers market, and so she vogues, and she has a Vogue Academy and all that stuff, and so I was just like, oh, I'm coming through, and so there was some drag dancing, so it was beautiful, and my daughter was so engaged with it, and she wanted to take pictures with everybody, and I think that we need to have a space where we're introducing our children into queer spaces where it's also like, for me, I was nervous because I was scared of like, I gotta explain some shit. And my daughter is also autistic, so she's just straight to the fucking point. So I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to say, right? But when I took her and I had my cousin with me, and I didn't even tell her that this was this type of event, and she's lesbian, and so it was cool. It was great. And was like, she was also engaged. And so I think that made her feel good that, you know, and it's always made her feel good because she came out to me many years ago. And, but for me, it was amazing to see my kids interact. Because I'm nervous about Pride because I'm just not sure like what's all entailed in Pride, and I'm not equipped on the spot explaining, you know, but I want to bring in more queer, you know, events and things that involve my children, because my husband is queer, so it is like also a thing for him, and so we're navigating this space. So I think if there are events and things, I think we should also be bringing to the forefront, you know, what was it, Marsha, the trans woman in New York who spearheaded like the movement for trans women. I think we should be telling her story. We need to put that on stage. We need to, you know what I'm saying? So I think that we need to be moving in a direction of more knowledge. And I get it. Like some people are like, it's just too sexual. It's too da-da-da. And I'm like, but how they played it, the only thing I had to do was the condom table. those aren't balloons. That's it. Other than that, everything else was fine. And I was just so.
Yeah, it leaves room for all these teachable moments.
Exactly,
too. Yeah.
exactly. So I just feel like, you know, bringing kids into our spaces isn't a bad thing because they're going to grow up and be us someday. And I want to make sure that my kids are like, they're not out here getting played. You know what I'm saying? They know, oh, you can't tell me nothing. I've been around folks. I know a lot of things. My mom's taught me so many things.
Right.
So my family, the people I deal with, we have different walks of life. So that I just want to add
Yeah,
that.
teachable moments. Nope, I love that. I love it. Okay, well, that concludes this focus group. I appreciate all of you for being here and taking the time to answer these questions so we can collect all of this data. Thank you. That is a wrap. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right. If anybody wants some snacks,